Hello and welcome to Fancy Sheep Reads episode 11.
Really?
Yeah.
11 already, huh?
So first up, is this our first palindrome? Do single-digit numbers count as palindromes?
Yes.
But why?
I want to say no.
Because if you count single-digit numbers as palindromes, then you have to count the letter A as palindrome.
Well, hold
Fine,
on.
the letter A is a palindrome.
We'll look at the Merriam-Webster definition for what a palindrome is. It's a word, verse, or sentence, or a number that reads the same backward or forward. So yes, it can be a number.
No, I mean, obviously it's a number, but does a single-digit number count as a palindrome? It's one digit.
No.
So this is our first palindrome episode.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should have seen my ex-wife. She was a palindrome. Palindromed all night long. I don't know what that means. Fuck you. Cut that out. Cut that out, Matthias.
Okay.
I'm ashamed of myself.
So today we're going to be reading a Watchmen fanfic because we haven't really done any comic fanfics.
Is that what this is about?
Yeah.
Oh, we could have read
Yes, it's
Adventure
about
Time fanfic again.
Huh?
It's comics now.
Adventure? No, we're not. You
should have read a My Chemical Romance.
They're written by Ryan North.
Comics.
You fucking hate dinosaur comics.
What?
Not you.
What?
Manuel, don't you hate dinosaur comics?
Yeah.
They're written by the guy.
I don't hate it. I just dislike it.
They're written by the guy who does dinosaur comics.
What?
Or who did. The Adventure Time comics.
Oh, okay. Ryan North?
Yeah, Ryan North.
Okay.
Alright, this is related to the MLP fans in here. That is not I. I'd like it to be known that I'm not a fan of MLP. To anyone watching this, please.
Brent, that sounds really shady.
What are you trying to say, Manuel? I'm trying to sell you illegal horses?
Yes.
Well, anyways,
so for
guys,
the audience,
maybe
Brandon
we should be moving on to the actual fanfic.
Fuck you.
Okay.
What is this, communist Russia?
Yes.
We can't talk about our ideas?
Yeah, that's rule number 1. That's rule number 1 is this fanfic is communist Russia, and you cannot talk about your ideas.
I'm sorry. Fuck, I forgot to say communist Russian.
Lest your ideas, of course, be state-sanctioned.
One second.
So the fanfic is called Relinquishing Control by Eric Forever.
Great name.
It's an
What are you saying?
I have no idea.
Tinie Ponimayu?
Oh my god, wait.
Tinie Ponimaite.
What does Ponimaite mean again?
Your fucking face.
Okay. That's clearly... There's a verb conjugation for your fucking...
People are learning today. They're learning what a palindrome is. They're learning some Russian words.
You know, Mano, it's like they say, you learn something new every day.
Русский язык.
What?
Я изучаю русский язык. Извините.
You know, this doesn't make the fanfic any shorter, right?
It really doesn't. Okay, so, it's an Ozymandias / comedian / So, reading for the role of Ozymandias. Manuel, introduce yourself.
What? Oh, yeah. I'm reading for Asmodeus, or whatever.
Ozymandias.
The douchebag.
Yeah. And, reading for the role of the comedian.
The other douchebag.
Brandon?
Да. Привет. Меня зовут Brandon.
Are you gonna translate the fucking lines into Russian and read them like... Oh, God.
Put subtitles.
I wish I knew that much Russian. Hey, I could say yes there. Da?
Okay. So
it's a moi, Eddie grunted, inhaling another mouthful of smoke.
Eddie gets annoyed that Adrian always has to be in control, so he goes to do something about it. It's rated M for porn with plot, dubcon, and what the fuck is dubcon?
It's like dubstep. But
except the convention?
Yeah, you can cut that out too. I'm not doing very well today.
Dubcon. Move on.
Okay.
I guess we'll figure it out.
Maybe, hopefully.
I'm scared.
Dubbed conversation? I mean, is it like a translated fanfic or something?
Before we start this, who wrote Move Along? Was it All American Rejects or Green Day?
All American Rejects.
Okay. I always confuse them.
Adrian exhaled slowly, rolling his hips once more against Eddie's. The blonde was jerking himself off in languid strokes as he impaled himself onto the older man, letting out nothing more than an occasional gasp.
It's the second sentence.
Yeah.
Porn without plot.
I thought it was porn with plot.
Well, he lied to you.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I didn't know.
He lied to all of you, guys.
He knew his lack of reaction pissed Eddie off. And as he contemplated that it was with suitably comedic timing that Eddie grunted and gripped his hips, trying to force a surprised reaction from the skinnier man. Instead, Adrian merely continued moving his hips. His breath hitched and he bit his lip as he climaxed, feeling Eddie release with a low moan inside of him. Wait a second. The low moan was released into Adrian? That's weird. That was horrible. Rolling off Eddie's lap, Adrian stood by the edge of the bed. He paused momentarily before announcing that he was going to take a shower and that Eddie could show himself out. Watching Adrian leave, because Eddie knew he walked like a goddamn woman on purpose, he grunted and went to grab his clothes. As he exited the apartment building, lighting a cigar because Adrian would throw a hissy fit if he smoked in his apartment, Eddie made his way down the street. All right, hold on. Little note to Eric Forever. You don't have to explain every fucking action that your characters do.
Yeah, that's what women writers do.
Wow.
And I hate women writers.
Okay.
Except for, who wrote Wuthering Heights? It's Charlotte Bronte, right?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Yep.
Bronte.
I love Charlotte Bronte. That's it.
That's it? That's the only woman writer you'll allow?
Yes.
But you can call her G.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think Brandon wasn't there for that reference.
The joke will never go off. It will never actually work ever in anything.
I'm going to make t-shirts for... Alright, let's get back to this.
He hated that Adrian always had to be in control, how he barely made a sound as if sex was just something he did to relieve boredom and it didn't actually affect him. People, even Adrian, shouldn't be able to seem so high and mighty with a cock up their ass. Which was the line that Manuel loved so much.
What?
Eddie muttered a curse as it began to rain. Dude, mutter a curse.
Fucking dick, bitch, shit, cock on my ass.
Lengthening his stride as he headed back into his own apartment. Heck. Of course, because after you say cock up your ass, you don't want to say fuck.
Or hell, for that matter.
Just heck. Heck, it wasn't even that the sex was bad. It felt great. Eddie just thought that it would feel even greater.
I'm sorry, can I stop you there? I thought it would have been so much better. Heck, it wasn't even that the sex was bad. Semicolon. It felt great.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty cool and advanced.
That a semicolon is a punctuation that you use.
Yeah.
Yes, Matthias?
Okay, right. Eddie just thought that it would feel even greater if he had Adrian pinned underneath him and moaning as Eddie fucked him into the floor. Into the floor. I don't think this
Yeah, by that point, the guy would have been dead if broken.
And/or gal understands how sex works.
But then again, nothing gets people more excited than proper grammar.
That is true, yeah. He groaned. Just the mental image of it made him want to storm back to Adrian's apartment and fuck him again. But if he did that, Adrian would just do what he always did, and slither onto Eddie's lap and ride him noiselessly on the bed. That was pretty much what had happened just 10 minutes ago.
I feel like that'd just be really surreal if you just walked into it. It's like, you've gone deaf.
This is, okay. Eddie knew that no matter how he tried to act like he wasn't, the great Adrian Veidt was, in fact, human. Therefore, no matter how silent he stayed during sex, Eddie always saw him bite his lip as he came. Adrian strived to achieve perfection, but Eddie was determined to break his little mask.
Before we start this, who's Eddie and who the hell is Adrian?
Eddie is a comedian and Adrian is Ozymandias.
I don't know these characters. To me, it's just two regular people right now.
Okay, so here we have a little break. I have no idea how to read this.
Just a separation, autist.
Okay, jeez. 2 days later, and Eddie had yet to lose his determination. He lit a cigar, waiting impatiently outside of Adrian's apartment building as he waited for the buzzer to be answered. Finally, he heard the blonde's clear and prim voice through the speaker.
Yes?
It's me.
Eddie grunted, inhaling another mouthful of smoke. Wait, you could definitely say it's me in Russian. Это мой. No, это...
That's what... Yeah, I said it before. Это мой.
Это Russian.
No, it's not это мой, because мой is possessive. Это меня, that's me.
It's yo, right. Said Eddie.
Do you remember that, Matthias? Do you remember that?
Because he's a Russian spy. I'm sorry, Matthias. We had to reveal that.
Why did you have to reveal that shit, man? Especially when we're reading the Cold War setting of Watchmen.
Yes.
Eddie grunted, inhaling another mouthful of smoke.
Put out the cigar,
Adrian ordered, and before Eddie could protest, he heard the sound of the buzzer letting him in. Mumbling a litany of curses directed at Adrian. Alright, while I'm reading, mumble a litany of curses.
Fucking bitch-ass.
Eddie stepped into the lobby, dropping his cigar and stamping it out with his foot. He ignored the disapproving glare from the receptionist. He came here often enough for them to know who he was visiting.
His face open in 3 separate pieces.
Striding over to the elevator, Eddie pressed the up button and groaned impatiently. Trust goddamn Adrian to live on the top floor. Once he reached the penthouse apartment, the elevator doors slid open and Eddie stepped out. It was almost satisfying to see his boots trail dirt and water over the pristine carpet.
Fucking asshole.
He is an asshole. That's the point of the story.
Well, I am an asshole in real life, you fucking cunt.
Okay. As he began trudging down the corridor, Adrian turned the corner and Eddie froze for a moment. The blonde was wearing those fucking ridiculous purple silk boxers that just hung off his perfectly shaped hips.
Why can't my hips be that perfect?
Eddie growled, feeling himself harden at the sight coupled with the mental images from the other day. Lunging forward and catching Adrian's slim wrist in one hand, Eddie pulled them both onto the floor. Taking only milliseconds to recover, Adrian flipped himself over and aimed his foot to kick Eddie away as he struggled to free his hands. Dodging the kick...
like a freaking gymnast or something. Isn't he a gymnast?
Yeah, I think he was. He caught a fucking bullet. I think he'll be able to escape this guy's grasp.
I don't know.
Doesn't he also have mind powers or something?
No, he was just the smartest man on Earth or whatever.
Whatever,
the thing is that, you see, he wants the D. So he's not gonna fight.
Bullets does not compare to the speed of a man filled with testosterone
really fucking
and arousal.
A man who really wants to put it in another man's ass.
Yeah, he will fuck a hole in the wall if he has to, through the earth. Like that Eminem song.
What?
Like that Eminem song.
Is that an Eminem song? Dodging the kick and tightening his grip on Adrian, Eddie reached down past the waistband of those ludicrous boxers and groped Adrian's cock, taking hold of it and giving it a rough jerk. That sounds painful.
And it ripped off, and then things got really bloody.
Oh, God. The reaction
But luckily, Adrian was the smartest man in the world and knew how to reattach it with only his hair as thread and his fingernail as the needle.
Unfortunately, he attached it upside down. So it was a really weird sexual experience.
Wait, no, wait. What?
Don't worry about it. Continue reading.
I could somehow, I don't know, believe what Manuel just said, but how the hell do you put it upside down?
There's a bottom and a top to your penis.
But how do you mess that up?
Learn to anatomy.
Because he's a military veteran.
Plowed in the ass. Come on.
He's not fully versed in how to properly suture penises back on. Okay.
Fine, whatever.
The reaction was unexpected to say the least. Adrian's back arched and he let out a keening sound. What the fuck is a keening sound?
Keening sound? Like a fox or something?
I don't know. Immediately biting his lip, Eddie grinned.
Fuck. I knew it!
Hold on. Keening is a form of vocal lament. Lament associated with mourning that is traditional to Ireland, Scotland, African American, and other cultures. Okay,
wait,
so
what?
Apparently he let out a sound that is like mourning, as in being depressed. So
you know how I just said like that Eminem song?
Yeah.
Well, I confused the song. He says in this one, "Not afraid." He says, "I'm doing this for me, so fuck the world, feed its beans, it's gassed up, etc." But I was thinking of the one off the same album, No Love, where Lil Wayne, who I fucking can't stand, says, "But it's fuck the world, get a child out of her, or out her." All right.
So did you say I knew it?
What?
Your line. You have a fucking line.
I knew it.
He practically snarled. Snarl.
Kenny.
Stop.
Stop it, Eddie. Stop.
Adrian began, trying and failing to keep his voice calm.
That's my butt. Stop.
Eddie was just grinning, his hands still moving against Adrian's half-hard cock.
I still need to reattach that cock. Stop.
Forcing Adrian to turn over so he was lying on his front, Eddie tugged down the skinnier man's underwear.
Wait, people need to mention that wasn't part of the fanfic.
What? No, it wasn't actually part of the fanfic. He didn't actually rip off his cock. That was an addition by Manuel. I know you were a little confused. All right. He felt Adrian tense slightly underneath him as he pressed 2 fingers into the blonde's entrance. He knew the other man could take it, but he still felt tight around Eddie's fingers. Disregarding it, he began pumping his fingers in and out of the blonde, grunting in frustration at the familiarly annoying lack of reaction. Adrian was still biting his lips and his eyes were shut, brow furrowed.
Open your fucking mouth, goddamn fairy.
Whoa. Homophobia? Not cool,
Put it in your blonde entrance, Matthias. Don't test me.
Eddie snarled.
That puckered hole of yours.
Oh, God. Eddie snarled, forcing 3 fingers into Adrian's mouth and holding it open before the other could respond. What?
Never mind. I thought you were going to say into his anus, and I'm like, 3 without lube, and at first?
No, he's going to use the spit as lube, obviously.
I'm the smartest man in the world. I don't need lube.
Come on, Kevin.
I can create it with my mind. Like a beaver.
What's that thing where you can really control like your bodies or whatever? We learned about it in psychology. Biofeedback, yeah.
Yes,
biolubrication.
So he can create lubrication with biofeedback. He's that intelligent.
He just kind of shits himself.
Adrian flinched, struggling slightly and trying to shut his mouth. Eddie ignored this and pressed his fingers deeper into Adrian. On which end?
Both of them.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
Like, if you took out Adrian, it kind of looked like Eddie's making gang signs.
Well, you know nothing what finger a butthole is like.
This time, he was not disappointed. Adrian let out a choked whimper, arching his back against Eddie. He grinned and pulled his fingers out before thrusting them in roughly. This time, Adrian let out a small cry, panting around Eddie's fingers, and trying desperately to stop letting the small whimpers escape from his mouth. Pulling his fingers out again, Eddie positioned himself at Adrian's entrance.
Oh gosh, sorry.
He likes the word entrance.
Pet peeve.
This is a sick
entrance.
The fucking entrance. I think we covered this a couple episodes ago.
It can be vulgar everywhere else, but when it comes to his butt, entrance.
It's because it's being used as a different function. Usually it's used as an exit. I use it as an exit, but he's using it as an entrance right now.
That's what it says to you, really.
What?
Gosh, Manuel.
Don't argue semantics with me, Manuel.
Thrusting in, Eddie savored the moan that tore itself from Adrian's throat. The blonde was tight and hot around him.
Why?
Anyways.
The blonde was tight and hot around him and kept moving his lips wantonly. How do you move your... Oh, moving his hips wantonly. How do you move your hips wantonly? Right, just everywhere?
Like Elvis. Fuck.
Grasping Adrian's hips with one hand, the other still keeping Adrian from biting his lip again, Eddie began thrusting in hard and fast. Adrian was moaning and trying to move his hips to gain some fragment of control, which Eddie denied him. Eventually, Eddie felt Adrian tighten around him as he came onto the no longer perfect carpet with Eddie's name on his lips. Climaxing inside Adrian, Eddie pulled out. Adrian flipped himself over so that he was lying on his back again, but he had done little else. He just lay there.
Wait, they were lying down? I don't even understand.
No, he saw him as soon as he turned the corner in his apartment.
Well, they were on the floor.
I'm going to rape him.
Yeah.
And then rape him. And that was it.
Okay,
He just lay there, panting gently with his eyes half lidded and cum spattered all over his stomach. I think she means splattered, but let's see if spattered
This is a girl?
I assume.
What? Oh, writing this?
Oh, covered with drops of something. Yeah, I suppose spattered would do. Okay. Eddie just sat leaning against the wall, lighting a cigar and putting it to his lips. As he inhaled, Adrian propped himself up beside him and leaned his head against Eddie's shoulders.
No smoking indoors, Eddie.
Bitch, it's the fucking 80s. Nobody gave a shit.
But I'm the smartest man in the world. I know about this shit.
Author's note. Thanks for reading. I always appreciate reviews and favorites. British spelling of favorites. I don't think she's actually British. Even if you just want to point out a spelling error.
I should point out that a semicolon would have been perfect in that sentence up there.
You just love semicolons, don't you?
I love semicolons. Ever since reading The Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, I fell in love with colons and semicolons.
You know who else fell in love with colons? Eddie.
Damn it.
Thanks for that, Manuel. So here's some reviews by
just a nice colonoscopy,
by Autor Onirique. The last line was just wonderful. Great job. I like the idea of Eddie getting control for once. Adrian is just too perfect. The comedian rules. There's way too much
was
space.
A douchebag. Didn't he murder children and stuff?
Only in war.
What's your point?
It was justified.
No, tell me. What's your point?
That he murdered children.
God technically murdered children.
He also killed his the Vietnamese prostitute he got pregnant.
Oh yeah.
Double the murder.
What about that story where fuck it, I don't remember his name. I'm not gonna go into it.
Neolithica. There we go.
And then you want to read that, Manuel?
Yeah. Well, that's how I figured gay sex between those two would be like. Great story. I want more now. Whoa.
What?
That's how we read that.
That's how we read that.
That was nice, Manuel.
So how long have we been reading?
Hold on, let me see. We've been recording for 22 and a half minutes.
Is that the shortest we've ever done?
No, I think the shortest was... I think that's when we ended it in the shortest episode.
All right,
Well, we gotta
keep this going. What do we do?
Basketball game.
What?
All right. Well, there it goes. Late night Skype chat, everyone. Let's do this.
No. Anyways,
It's only 9.
No. This can't evolve that badly. Come on. I mean, even though what we're doing right now is just reading smutty fanfics, late night Skype call transcends any level of perversion we've just achieved.
So thanks for listening. Hit like, comment. Don't hit comment because I don't think you can hit comment. But hit
I don't know. I think 120 Days of Sodom was worse than our late night Skype chats.
We're done with this conversation. Do you not know the rules of the podcast?
I don't.
None of us really know the rules of the podcast.
Yeah, I thought this was like an anarchy, communist anarchy, which doesn't really make sense, but
it is what it is.
Yeah,
because
it's a anarchy.
We transcend. Fucking.
Okay, here we go. No personal conversations
Political
while recording.
labeling.
Absolutely no mention of. You know what we're not supposed to mention.
What are we supposed to mention? The Holocaust?
You especially know, Manuel, because you were there.
Are we supposed to mention the Holocaust, Hitler, what?
No, you can mention that shit. We don't care about that.
Okay, so what are we supposed to mention?
You know the episode.
I don't.
No, stop being so obscure about this. What are we supposed to mention?
Okay, implying I'm not going to read it.
Oh.
Damn it. I'm going to have to edit that shit. I'm going to have to censor the shit out of that.
Don't you dare bleep me. Matthias, you can't bleep me.
Politics aren't in the podcast.
What?
Have we ever discussed politics in the podcast?
Oh, there we go. Moving on. What's the next?
Okay, I think we should just end it.
Yeah, we should probably. All right, so thanks for listening.
Ended like my first 3 marriages. All right.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Subscribe.
I promised Brandon that if we got to 6 digits of subscribers, we will play an actual sport.
But that's
what?
Plays.
What?
Yeah, Fantasy plays. Instead of playing video games, one day we'll play.
We'll play an actual sport, yeah.
To do wrestling.
Like Quidditch.
Let's do wrestling. Then we'll play basketball and football, and we'll do some weightlifting.
I promised a sport. I didn't promise all the fucking sports.
Olympics. Okay, fine. Take Matthias through a weightlifting circuit.
Pentathlon.
Oh, God.
Wait, is air hockey considered a sport?
No, I wouldn't stop winning. You remember the last time we played air hockey?
I do.
And
By
it's
the
not
way,
considered a
Matthias,
sport.
I would think now would be a good time to cut it.
Yes, alright, so, yeah, thanks for listening. Oh, don't forget to like us on Facebook.
I'm surprised it took it long to cut.
Yeah, we have a fucking Facebook. Wait, you don't like us? Right. You should like us on Facebook, Brandon.
I don't have a Facebook.
Do I like us on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you like us on Facebook. Your sister likes us on Facebook.